All right, court is calling 2024 CR 6530, State of Texas versus John Paul Pena. Can I have parties announced for the record? State? Defense?
On behalf, Victoria Cruz on behalf of Raymond Martinez for the defense.
Are you Mr. Pena?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you have any objection to this attorney, Ms. Cruz, standing in for Mr. Martinez? All right, the court will note for the record that the state is in compliance with discovery, and the court is in possession of a discovery and acknowledgement signed on July 30th, 2024. Did you review the document entitled Application for Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney?
Yes,
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand you're charged with theft, 2,500 to 30,000 as a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Pena, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 2 years in the state jail facility. There's a $2,000 fine. I'm assuming these parentheses mean probated.
Yes, Your Honor.
A $2,000 fine probated. This run concurrent with 713885. State is taking in consideration 715936, 715937, 733879, and 2024 AL 000833. And there's to be restitution of $2,663.70. Who is that restitution to? All right. Any objection to the court writing in that that's to be payable to Home Depot?
No objection from defense.
And will you be able to pay that amount?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 3 years, and there be no contact with Home Depot and HEB. Did you understand that those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest, ma'am.
Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, my client is involved in several community outreach programs. He is the provider to his family, and he has been on GPS pretrial with no violations. I do think that he is going to be a very good probationer. I do this every day, and I do feel that he has the resources and the willpower to do this right.
All right, so why are you stealing?
To be honest with you, Your Honor, it was went through a dark hole for closing on a house.
Mhm.
So I own the property, and I foreclosed on my house while I was incarcerated.
Mhm.
So to be honest, that's just kind of the economy kind of went down. To be honest with you, I have no prior to doing this. It was just something that I did out of spite, thinking I could try to save our family from it.
All right, so you know, committing a crime is never the answer. Because then now you have a felony conviction for a theft case.
Yes, ma'am.
And these theft cases are crimes of moral turpitude. And I'm sure your attorney has explained to you that when you have these type of cases, it will impact your ability to obtain employment that requires a license or anything that requires a license. So how many children do you have
I got 4.
and what are their ages?
I got a 18-year-old. I got a 16-year-old. I got a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old.
All right, and do they all live with you?
I got 2 of them that do reside with me. Or I reside with them.
Any drug issues with you?
No, ma'am.
And are you employed?
I'm actually a subcontractor.
What do you do?
I do remodeling. Interior and exterior. I do have a DBA that's registered with the state. I haven't filed for LLC yet.
All right, this is what the court is gonna do. Gonna sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility, suspended and probated for 4 years, a $2,000 fine that will be probated. This will run concurrent with 713-885. Take in consideration 715-936, 715-937, 733-879, 2024 AL 000833. There's to be restitution of $2,663.70 payable to Home Depot. Why is there no contact with the HEB?
Your Honor, I believe the HEB is a complainant on the misdemeanor case that the state is requesting that we plead to.
All right, and is that a theft case as well?
I believe so.
And what is he alleged to have taken from HEB?
I'm not going to misspeak to the court, Your Honor. I don't know.
All right, what are you alleged to have taken from HEB?
Food items.
Okay. All right,
Your Honor,
yes,
apologize for interrupting you. I present those suggestions.
yes. There's going to be proof of employment within 30 days. No employment as a home health care provider or with minors. So if there's no contact at HEB, then he'll have to do grocery shopping elsewhere. And when we say no contact with HEB, is that going inside the store? Is he able to order online and pick up at curbside or what? What do we mean by no contact with HEB?
No physically going inside the store.
All right, so you can call HEB on the phone and do curbside pickup, but you're not allowed to enter any HEBs. You understand?
Amen.
Okay. All right, there should be regular reporting. By Zoom or in person. Regular random UAs. 100 hours of community service restitution. I'm sorry, that's 200 hours of community service restitution. 100 hours will be waived once he completes parenting classes. The remaining 100 hours will be waived once he receives his full license for your business. Field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. Yes, no contact with, I'm sorry, there's to be no contact with Home Depot. So with that one, you cannot do curbside pickup with that one.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record in this court. In order to be successful in probation, communication is key. If you have an issue, let probation know. If you feel as though they're not addressing it, you can always come back to the court.
Your Honor, he is on GPS. How would Your Honor like to proceed on that?
State, do you have any objection to removal of GPS?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and the court will order removal of GPS.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Hello, how's it going? All right, so if you will, with that one, if you'll turn that into them, I think.
It's a county court case. It's gonna
No, that one's night mag rejection.
be docket thing.
Okay. Should I take the bottom or does it still need to be signed? No, it's good.
You're welcome.
May we be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, you may be excused. Probation will go over conditions with you.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Your
you.
Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll give this once I give this to you once I've completed it and put it in the system.
Yes, Judge.
Joshua Anzadua.
Judge.
All right, so who's the prosecutor on this one? So supposedly a pending murder case or something?
I think we never really got a clear answer. So detectives definitely talked to him, but if there's no charges coming down, I really don't want to keep holding it up. I mean, it sounds like he may possibly be witness, but I don't have
Okay,
anything.
so
to
we
show
need
that
a
it's up
jury
to-
trial.
That's what I'm thinking, Judge.
All right. And I'm assuming you're not ready today.
No, and I'll tell you, I'm out the last 2 days this week. I have to
Okay.
do the mandatory max CLE, and then I have to do the mandatory juvenile law CLE. And I have a doctor's appointment Wednesday, so it's gonna make it very hard
No
to
problem.
get this in this week.
All right, Norma, I need a jury trial date on Anzadua for January.
No,
No,
it's
criminal
regular.
trial division.
Yeah.
All right, and he needs to be brought over dressed.
We'll get them close. And I don't know if we got you close yet or not. I'll just start your file.
All right, so and I need the acknowledgements of discovery done if that hasn't been done.
We'll do, Judge. He's remanded without on one case and filed a motion to set bond. I think it's still working its way through the e-filing system.
All right, if you all are ready to proceed on it, we can proceed on it.
We're ready to go. I mean, he got remanded due to a subsequent arrest. We're just asking the court set some kind of bond.
All right, which case is that on?
Give me just a second, Judge. I'm trying to find it for you. Was he evading? Yeah, I think you're right, actually. It was an evading arrest, Judge, evading arrest in a motor vehicle case, Your Honor.
All right. Well, we have two evading arrests. Well, we have the evading arrest detention second or more,
I believe it was the one in the vehicle.
the vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, are you ready to proceed on this motion? All right, court is calling 2024 CR 3794 State versus Joshua Anzadua. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Megan Galloway for the state.
Adam LaHood for the defendant, Your Honor.
And are you Joshua Anzadua?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, defense has filed a motion to have bond set in this, but of course, with e-discovery, it is somewhere in the ether, yes. Or in the time continuum, somewhere lost. Any objection to proceeding on the motion orally state? All right, so defense, you're requesting a bond?
We are, Judge. He was on bond, and then there was a subsequent arrest, a case which we tried to resolve via plea, but I think we're headed to trial on it. Due to the subsequent arrest, he was remanded without bond, which would make it impossible for him, obviously, to be released from custody. We're asking the court to either reinstate the bond or set some bond in some amount that gives him any chance. Obviously, while he's remanded without, he just simply has no opportunity at all to post a bond, Judge. And for that reason, we're asking the court to set a reasonable bond in this case.
All right, and what amount are you requesting?
Your Honor, due to, and it is without the bond, and just so we're clear, it's in the cause number ending in 3794. Previously, I believe his bond was 10,000. 10,000. We understand there's consequences for the rest, Judge. We would be okay if the court set a bond at 20,000, which would essentially be double what the previous amount was.
State?
Judge, we request a $50,000 bond, given that original charge, the offense date was November 23rd of 2023. There were multiple other subsequent arrests, the subsequent arrest, but it's multiple offenses that stemmed out of that additional arrest, and for that, and because of the criminal history as well, that is the reason that we request that.
All right, what is the defendant's criminal history?
Sentenced on a possession of controlled substance, PD 124 grams.
And what date was that? Or the date of the offense?
Offense date was in 2019. He was awarded probation in that, but ultimately he was sentenced in 2020.
All right, and the cases that he has open in this court? What?
Judge, he does have one more case that he was sentenced on. It is a bird have intent to commit assault. That offense date was in 2020, January of 2020, and he was sentenced September of 2020. The offenses that he has pending in this court include, the instant offense, the evading arrest,
Please make sure that's off. Yes, you may continue.
with the vehicle, 2 assault peace officers, 1 possession, controlled substance, PG 1 to 4, an evading detention, second and more, theft. Well, then he has 2 misdemeanors pending, a theft 100, 750, and criminal mischief 100.
All right. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Joshua Antaldua.
All right. Sir, have you ever been diagnosed with any mental health issues?
Manic schizophrenic,
All right, and have you ever received medication for that?
currently on medication right now for,
All right. And then if you were released, do you have a place to live?
yes, ma'am.
And that place where you would be living, is that equipped with a landline phone?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have any children?
A 2-year-old, I believe, that I just barely found out about.
All right. Has there ever been any drug use in your past?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what would that be?
Methamphetamine,
And how often in your past were you using?
occasionally,
What does occasionally mean?
almost every day.
All right. Any questions from either side?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
All right. Do you want to question him about the amount of bond he can make? Yeah. All right. Who has that phone? All right. Do you know how to turn it off?
I'll assist in that.
All right. Thank you so much. They keep coming out with newfangled ways with the phones, and it's hard to know how to turn them off. Do you want to question him with regards to the amount of bond he can make?
Yes, Judge. So, Mr. Antaldua, are you working right now?
Not at the moment due to incarceration
Okay. Before you were incarcerated, where were you working?
at Garcia Foundation
And how much were you making? Either were you paid by the hour, by the day?
by the day,
How much are you making per day?
$80 a day.
$80 a day?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to go back and work there if you are released?
More than likely.
More than likely. Okay. What do you have any substantial savings right now?
Not at the moment.
What about family, mother, father, brother, sister, people that could assist you?
Yes, mother.
Your mother? If you've talked to her, do you know roughly what total bond amount you could possibly make? Okay.
I will be able to make something.
Okay. But you have talked to your mom about the possibility of getting out or her helping in post bond?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is your mom retired or working?
She's working.
Where does she work at?
She's a CNA.
CNA? Oh,
Yes,
it's serving nursing?
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right. Any questions?
Just briefly, so when you were on bond previously, was it your mother who posted your $10,000 bond originally? Okay, who was that?
My girlfriend.
And you said that your mother works, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And has she made any efforts to secure bonds in any of the other cases where bond was set?
No, ma'am.
And I guess if you're released, are you going to be living with your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that in a house or an apartment?
A house.
Does she own that house?
Yes.
And how long has she lived at that residence?
About 3 years.
Nothing further on it.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to set your bond at $30,000. There's to be partial GPS. The court will waive fees. And the partial is for employment and mental health appointments. I'm going to do a referral to Center for Healthcare Services, outpatient treatment, outpatient drug treatment, waive fees.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, if you can make sure that he has a reset form, please. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, let me speak to him. Mr. Lopez, your attorney is ill, so we're bringing you back on December 16th. That's Monday, okay?
That's it, all that, like,
No, we have to wait for your attorney and he's out ill.
Mm.
So we'll bring you back on the 16th.
I
If
can't-
he's able to come sooner than that, we'll have you brought over sooner than that. But at the latest, it will be Monday.
I can't say nothing like nothing else, like.
I wouldn't recommend that without your attorney being present. All right, thank you.
Shit.
You're welcome. All right, Randy Folsom.
Yes.
All right, so he has two cases. He has,
Yes, Your Honor.
oh, sorry, he just has one, or is he Reuben Gonzalez as well?
No, Reuben Gonzalez is another. person.
All right.
Yes, sir.
It was stuck together.
No problem, Your Honor.
All right, so on Mr. Folsom, where are we on this case?
Yes, Judge. In reviewing the discovery more thoroughly, I noticed that there was outstanding blood discovery. He did consent to a breathalyzer, however, that was a deficient sample. And then they did draw his blood, Judge. So I did show the states the amended standing blood discovery order
Mhm.
for Texas DPS. They have no opposition to me tendering to the court, Your Honor. If I may.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes.
And I'll go ahead and make a copy and give one to the state too, so they can request the judge. We'll be requesting a reset for these records.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. Give me a reset for this in 45 days. If it's back sooner than that, Mr. Folsom will bring you back sooner than that. But sometimes it takes a while with the blood discovery. What date?
Sounds good.
All right, so we'll bring you back on January 23rd.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anything else?
Nothing further from defense, Judge.
All right, thank you. State you may be excused. Reuben Gonzalez. All right, so where are we on PTD?
Yes, Your Honor. We have the generated contract and he has signed. So we're gonna send that in today and wait for the orientation to be conducted, Judge.
All right, I need a PTD date. What date? All right, we're gonna bring you back on January 16th.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All
Upon
right.
doing the discovery request, the reset form, may he be excused, Judge?
Yes, and thank you for dressing appropriately for court.
Of course. You're a beautiful lady.
Oh,
Let's do so for you.
thank you. You've made my day. Lindsey Hernandez. Hello.
Yes.
All right, so where are we on this case?
Yes, Your Honor. My client recently got out of inpatient drug treatment a couple of days ago,
Mhm.
and she's doing much better. I'm happy to report to the court. We did get a revised plea offer, Judge, that she wants to consider strongly. If we can get one setting for us to talk about the nature of that plea. She is scheduled for a appointment with Center for Healthcare Services on December 12th as well, Judge.
All right, so we're gonna recall this back on December 16th.
Your Honor, I have a vacation letter on file. I wanted to see if possible. We can
What
maybe do
date?
Early January, if that fits the court's.
All right, when is your vacation time?
It's December the 11th, Judge. I'll be out until the new year, unfortunately.
All right, Norma, bring this back on January 6th. You need to make sure that you stay on track, that you stay clean and sober, because the holidays are very stressful for people. Don't be around anyone who's drinking or anyone who's stopping you from going to your appointments. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, good luck to you. Thank you for dressing appropriately for court.
Good.
Your attorney is out sick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna recall you back and I'm gonna call you back for next week. All right, so we'll put you next week. Bashan, this is a motion to revoke. Would December 17th be a good day?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're gonna call you back on Tuesday.
Yes, ma'am.
If your attorney wants you brought back sooner than that, he'll let us know. But the earliest we can get you in this week will be Thursday, the 12th, but that's only if your attorney, lets us know that he's doing better. Otherwise, your court date is going to be December 17th, which is Tuesday next week.
Okay.
All right, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. We'll see you then.
Thank you. too.
Thank you. Tuesday, yes. All right, thank you. If you put him down for the 17th, thank you. And Deputy Mejia, if you'll bring out Raphael Leal's client, and Mr. Leal, they're bringing your client. You are not allowed to leave the courtroom because they're gonna go get him now. If you leave the courtroom, show cause.
So close.
Yes. Because you do that all the time, and then we have your client here. And then you come back at 12. Like, what are you guys doing? Hi.
Morning, Your Honor.
You need to have them pull the file. Samuel Bach. Who you been conferring with? Hi, okay. That's okay. All right. All right, so my understanding, all discovery has been received. Today is the, we did have a plea deadline date previous on September 17th, but there was some slight issue with the discovery, and then I called you back here. So my understanding, you still are requesting a jury trial?
We are requesting a jury trial, Your Honor. We are ready, but I need to give you a couple of things. First off, the expert that we have is only available for tomorrow. And I was anticipating asking the court, it's the forensic pathologist that would do toxicology, testimony. And if the state had not rested and we couldn't take him at the end of the day tomorrow, I was gonna ask to take him out of order. He is unavailable on the 12th past that. Otherwise, we're ready in regards to the logistics of the case. I will let the court know that I am been under the weather. My daughter has had a cough and cold for 3 weeks. I have an appointment that I made again this morning for 4 o'clock.
Notice how I'm squinting my eyes?
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that I do not know if she potentially has bronchitis or pneumonia. We've been in and out of the doctors. We're now going to.
So you're asking for a continuance?
I think that I can go, but I would ask for a continuance if you're like gonna, it's not a hard request, but it is, those are the issues that we're dealing with.
Did you file a motion?
I did not file a motion.
Are you gonna have objection to an oral motion for continuance? I love candor.
As far as the witnesses go, I would not be able to rest my case tomorrow for her expert to be able to testify tomorrow.
All right, and so would you have an issue with her expert appearing by Zoom? All right. We're gonna go on the record. Court is calling 2023 CR 8868, State of Texas versus Samuel Allen Bach. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Megan Galloway for the state.
Defense?
Jody Sawyers.
And are you Mr. Bach?
Yes.
All right, my understanding from our conversation off the record is that the defense wishes to raise an oral motion for continuance, and state is the court's understanding that you have no objection to the motion being oral.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, defense, it's your motion.
Your Honor, we have an expert witness that is Mr. Jellick, who is not anticipated to testify. He has been subpoenaed for tomorrow. He is not available on the 12th or thereafter. We've confirmed with the state. They do not believe that they will rest in time for us to get to him tomorrow. I've asked to call him out of order. And if that is not possible, then we are asking for a continuance based off of that. In addition to the medical issues that we raised prior that are personal in nature and have nothing to do with the case.
Okay. And state, you are not going to allow their witness to appear by Zoom, the expert witness, is that correct? Do you have any objections to the defense's oral motion for continuance? You hear me typing away. I have to put everything in Odyssey and also everything on the docket sheet. All right, court will grant the defense's oral motion for continuance. We are going to come back here on December 19th. On December 19th, you all will confer on a jury trial date, and that will be your jury trial date.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, once you receive the reset form and you sign it, your excuse, make sure that you put your email address on it. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, who's here on Juan Rios? Juan Carlos Rios, who's the attorney?
Right here, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna ask you the same question that I asked everybody else. Has an acknowledgement of discovery been done, because I don't have it in the court's file?
I have signed a few of them at this point,
All right, so has there been any new discovery?
not to my knowledge.
All right, so you can make sure that the acknowledgement of discovery, the state actually has it and the court hasn't, because it's not in the court's file.
and Odyssey is doing things on its own. So I'm gonna have y'all come back tomorrow. You're not number one on the docket.
Okay,
There are a couple of cases that are ahead of you, so those cases may end up going before yours. We'll just see where we are, okay?
that's correct.
Respectfully, Your Honor, Mr. Rios always appears, always waits all day. This is impacting his employment. We would ask that if we're not likely to be called tomorrow, that we be released. Additionally, I have experts for this trial that we have attempted to bring in, but we never know, and because the case is older now, when we should bring those experts in. So I'm gonna have to approach the court and request additional funds for those experts if we're reset. So I would ask the court either to give us some preference tomorrow for trial, or if we can't do that, to release Mr. Rios so that he can go to work.
All right, be here exactly at 9:30, okay?
Okay, yes.
All right, I'm supposed to be here exactly at 9:30.
You understand? Now, Your Honor, respectfully, every time we come to court, we lose an entire day of work ourselves too. This is not typical of most of the courts in this county.
Oh, yeah, it is very typical.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
You can say that, Judge, but I practice in
And
the
say
courts.
And it very is typical, because every attorney that's here has a case that's set for jury trial. And this is what ends up happening. What ends up
Happening is I will allow people to go to civil cases to be out of county, and then their client is sitting here waiting for them. And for some reason, that's the court's fault. That's not the court's fault when attorneys are not showing up at 9 or whatever, and then they stroll in at 9:30 or 9:45. So what I'm telling you all, 9:30, see y'all at 9:30. Thank you. Coordinator will give you a reset form.
Understood. Your
All
Honor,
right,
I'm
thank
trying to
you.
make a record. I don't see the court reporter typing.
What?
Okay, so we only take a record in this court when the judge tells you to? The case was called.
No, the case wasn't called. When I call the case, I call it by the style of the case.
Okay.
All right? All right, so I'll see y'all at 9:30.
Judge, I have to ask you, is this a tactic on the court's part to attempt to wear out the defendant so they can't access their right to trial?
Oh. I find that very inappropriate to say when there is no proof and people are just throwing things out. Now, what I can tell you, and I'm sure your client is aware, sometimes when we end up coming to court, we come to court because there are discovery issues. Sometimes when you're in court, you are in court because your attorney is late. And when I say late, I mean that when a case is scheduled in this court and it's scheduled for 9 a.m. and attorneys go to different courts because they want to go to different courts first, it is not the court's fault that you're sitting here for 12 o'clock or 1:30 or coming back over break. Number one, I have a lunch break. And there was a point in time where I would not take a lunch break. And the reason why I wouldn't take a lunch break is because I said, you know what?
Make a record?
I've been a defense attorney. And when I was a defense attorney, what I would always do, I'm like, I have to be in like 5 courts. It would be nice if they could stagger their docket. And so sometimes I would be here, we wouldn't have a lunch break, and I would be here till 3 o'clock. And then you know what I discovered? When I would say that I'm going to be here till 3 o'clock, I'm working through lunch, other attorneys, you know what they would end up doing? Then they wouldn't show up in the morning. They would just show up at 1:30 or whatever, because they're like, oh, the judge is going to stay there. So I stopped doing that because I need a lunch break. And that's what happens.
So then my other question, I guess, is if you're not doing this to cause the hardship, it obviously causes all of the attorneys and the defendants. Are you doing this for the YouTube? Because we don't have a record, right? Except for the YouTube.
Yes, here's the thing. You're to be back tomorrow at 9:30. You understand?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much. And once you sign the reset form, you'll be here tomorrow. If somebody goes before you, somebody goes before you. Your counsel is well aware, or should be well aware, if he's been practicing in Bexar County,
For almost
that
20
there
years.
are a lot of cases that are on the docket for jury trial. So for example, I had approximately 40 cases down for jury trial today. And what ends up happening, sometimes people who are in custody take precedent. because their cases are older
I'm
than
asking for a
yours.
record, by the way.
You understand? Because they're older than yours.
Seriously,
So
because
that's what happened. So then what ends up happening? So
Complaints are being made, there should be a record, right?
Excuse me, stop interrupting me.
Well, we're not on the record,
Stop interrupting me.
right? I mean, we're not in
Stop
court. if there's no record.
interrupting me.
Sir, here's your reset form at 9:30.
So what ends up happening, sir, is that people who are in custody, sometimes their cases take precedent. And the reason why it takes precedent is because their cases are older and because the jail is overcrowded. Now, as you may or may not be aware, I call the docket all the time at 9 a.m. And sometimes when I call the docket at 9 a.m., defense attorneys are not here. Your attorney knows when he has not been here at 9 a.m. And then you have to wait. And you
Judge,
need
you're
to
aware
be
that every
here.
court starts at 9.
And you need to
I have
be
other
here.
cases.
And you need to be here at 9. So when your attorney is somewhere at another court, you know what ends up happening? Your attorney has made the choice to have you sit here and go to another court before
Well,
coming
that's not
here.
exactly true,
You
because all of
understand?
those courts got
All right,
business
good luck to
accomplished.
you.
All
Thank
of us
you.
got
Thank you,
recalled
sir.
today,
Thank you,
right,
sir.
Judge? So, I mean, what did we
Have a
accomplish
nice
today?
afternoon, sir.
I
Sir,
mean, that's the reason I don't come to your court at 9, because I know in another court,
Sir,
something's
here's your
gonna actually
receipt.
occur.
sir,
And they're courts of exactly the same
Sir.
jurisdiction.
right this way, sir.
Yes. Excuse me. Step away.
I was doing what the court ordered me to do and checking on the discovery.
All right, so what ended up happening is your attorneys. All right. One things have really changed the way people treat people, which I find very odd.